glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. It is Wednesday, March 5th, 2025. There was two articles that I read, one from Newsweek, which was posted yesterday, and another one on MSN, which I generally don't read. But it talks about how the Ontario Premier Doug Ford said on Monday that he would block energy exports to the United States with a smile. That was if our president, Donald Trump, went forward with the 25% tariff on Canada. We evidently did a 10% tariff on their oil and gas that we refined for them. According to figures from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, Canada is, by some margin, the largest source of American energy imports, with 59% of all crude oil imported into the U.S. in 2019 coming from that country. Canada cannot refine their oil, so they send it to the U.S. The U.S. refines it, and we sell it back to them at a profit. On Monday, Ford said that Canadian energy keeps the light on for 1.5 million homes and manufacturing facilities in New York, Michigan, and Minnesota. We know that we have an energy shortage here in the U.S. That's why they have rolling blackouts during the summer. We use more energy than what we produce. If Canada restricts energy exports to the U.S., it is unlikely to cause power shortages. However, it will likely increase the prices for businesses and private households, causing further inflation. That's what they're saying. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what they're saying. According to a report from the Canadian Energy Centre, Canada's electricity exports to the U.S. were about $54 billion between 2000 and 2019. According to that data, Vermont was considered the top recipient of electricity exported from Canada in 2019. They bought $585 million worth of electricity from Canada. While the Canadian electricity exports did peak in 2020, they have declined since then. However, several cities still are benefiting significantly from Canadian electricity, including Buffalo, New York, Ogdensburg, New York, Pembina, North Dakota, Seattle, Washington, Great Falls, Montana, and Portland, Maine, just to name a few. In addition to New York, Michigan, and Minnesota states identified as importing the most electricity from Canada, like I said, North Dakota, New Hampshire, Maine, California, Vermont, Nevada, now that surprised me, and Arizona. Ford did say on Monday, don't start a tariff war. But if we're going to win this tariff war, if they want to try to annihilate Ontario, I will do everything, including cutting off their energy, with a smile on my face. And I am encouraging every other province to do the same. Doug Ford's threat to restrict electricity exports to the U.S. would fall especially hard on Buffalo and upstate New York like Rochester. He added, it's relatively cold this time of the year, and this is a peak electricity season for upstate New York. So the price impact at the local level could potentially be substantial. If electricity is cut with little warning, there will be severe impacts on prices and electricity volume. U.S. Energy Information Administration said in a report about energy trade between the U.S. and Canada, although the amount of electricity imported over the Canadian border is a small part of the overall U.S. power supply, the transmission connections linking Canada and the United States are an important component of the electricity markets in northern states. On Twitter, I found this. It says, thus Canada provides roughly 0.8% to 1% of the total electricity consumed in the United States in 2023. And then at the bottom of the article, it says Canada's exports primarily serve border states like New York, New England, and the Midwest, where they can account for 10 to 16% of local retail sales in some areas. It also says that New York imported significant amounts from Quebec, and losing this could strain local grids during peak demand, such as winter heating or summer cooling. However, the U.S. grid is interconnected via three major regions: Eastern, Western, and Texas interconnections. Power could be redistributed from other areas, such as the Midwest or Southeast, where excess capacity exists. Number 3, it says the U.S. already imports a small amount of electricity from Mexico, about 10% of total imports, or 3 to 4 terawatts annually, but this is minor compared to domestic potential. The biggest challenge would be transmission. If Canadian imports stop, border states might face temporary congestion on transmission lines until power is rerouted. However, the North American Electrical Reliability Corporation, NERC, oversight grid reliability and would coordinate contingency plans. And then the conclusion in this article: Canada supplies approximately 0.8% to 1% of the U.S. electricity, a small but regionally important share. If cut off, the U.S. could readily replace this amount using its vast domestic generation capacity with minimal national disruption. Minimal, so there would be some disruption, but it'd be minimal. Border regions might face short-term adjustments. What would those short-term adjustments be? But the U.S. grid's scale and flexibility ensure it could adapt quickly. The bigger question is why Canada would risk losing export revenue given the mutual benefits of the interconnected North American grid. So what are your thoughts? There should be more news about this. People probably should be preparing in case all of a sudden in the middle of the night during a blizzard, their electricity is suddenly cut off. What are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless y'all. Bye.